got a hand or need a hand?
Can you hold that?
I can.
It definitely works when we put them on opposite sides. Okay. I feel like a real cameraman now.
You have to hold the camera?
To hold the camera. Feels really long all of a sudden, doesn't it?
Wow. When are we going to get there? Hello. Here we are. We are going to do Demo December.
Yes.
I can't believe it's December.
I mean, technically for us, it's not.
Well, it will be when they see this.
It will be December when you're watching this.
So, in case you haven't figured that out, that means that we're not live. This is being recorded. But we're going to talk about 3 different things to do with Demo December.
Yes, we're going to have 2 videos, and you'll get a little snippet this week. And then another snippet in the next video, which I'm not sure how far apart it will be.
We haven't decided what date we're going to post those yet. So secrets are fun, right?
They are. Yeah.
So we're going to, like I said, do 3 bits today. First thing that we're going to do is talk about how you can get an applique cut file out of your embroidery design if you weren't provided one. Because guess what? You weren't provided one in this file. So we're going to show you how to get one if you would like it. And then number 2, we're going to talk orange pop rulers and how those are fantastic to cut down specifically Kimberbell, but you can use them for anything else as well. And then lastly, we're going to stitch out part 1 of Demo December's, actually I think it's part A.
Right, project, because it's a 2-part
project. It's a 2-part project. So we're going to stitch out that first section today.
Yes, and it's a little jar topper or a bamboo holder hoop thing, but super cute.
Hoop decor, jar topper, whatever, however you want to do it.
Yes.
So
all right. So we're going to talk about the design first,
yes.
And we're going to switch over to the camera here, and we're going to talk about what we're doing a little bit different to the design because Lisa and I we
follow directions
a hard time following those directions, so we have to change it. So we're going to show you what we did and change it today. And the advantage of us being recorded here is that you get to see a little bit of movie magic. We're going to change it, and then we're going to snap our fingers, and we're going to have the cut file.
And it'll be ready to go.
Right.
So if you have questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section there, and we will respond. So even though we're not live, we will get back to you with our answers.
That's right. So, I'll be in Florida visiting Mickey or Harry Potter.
Wherever she happens to be, but we will definitely get notified when there's comments. So if you place a comment in a question, then we will answer.
Yeah,
we'll be as we can. Absolutely.
All right, so here's our screen.
Here is the beautiful screen, and this is part 1 design. So these are the 3D parts that are going to go on the jar topper. And we've got a leaf and some pieces of the flowers of the poinsettia. And what we want to do is these are actually going to be satin stitched. So we want to cut those with our scan and cut. These are still going to be free. What's that edge?
Raw edge.
That's the one. That's 3 motions stuck in my head, and that was not the right word. So these are raw edge. So I don't want to cut those on my scan and cut. I want to cut those in the hoop. Not to mention that those are felt, which is super easy to cut.
Yeah.
But we're going to cut this. In your pattern, that is velveteen, which can be a little bit of a pain to cut.
Yes.
So it'd be great to be able to do that on the scan and cut. It's also kind of messy.
Yeah, it's definitely messy.
So it'll also be a nice thing if you put a fusible on the back before you cut.
Yes.
Even if you're not going to use your scan and cut, that's not a bad idea to put some fusible on there before you cut because it'll cut down on the amount of fuzz yuck that you get from cutting the edges.
And fuse that velveteen from the back.
From the back,
not the front.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So I want these guys to be cut files, and I don't already have that.
Right.
So I'm going to go into my changing of the colors here, which is the little spool with the little talk bubble with colors. I'm going to tap that, and I get into all of the color options that I have, and then I have my color stops that are all down here. So I have there's my design, and then I have all of the different color stops.
Right.
So I have previously already figured out which one it is that I want to change. But if I don't know, when I tap on them, I can see the different pieces and what they are up there. But this is the one that I want. So that is actually the outline there. That is the file that I want that to be.
Yep, and I'll zoom in so you can see that, how we know that. There's that little outline that's showing up on the
just
screen.
that straight line, that is the placement or tack down, depending on how you're looking at it.
Yep.
In this case, it's actually the tack down line, which is perfect because that's the size that I'm going to need it to be. So I want that to be my cut line. So if we look at the bottom of the screen, I'm in embroidery, which is a great place to be. There's a couple places that you can find this, but this is the one I usually have it left on. If I scroll to the bottom, I've got this kind of orangey color that's got scissors in it. And if I tap on that color with the scissors, it says that it's applique material. And it tells the machine that that is a cut file. And if you look at my color over here now, it shows that weird orange color and scissors.
Yes.
So now I just hit OK, and I hit memory, and I put that on my USB. And I'm going to take that USB to my scan and cut. This will work on both Babylock and Brother machines.
Yes.
It does not matter what Babylock or Brother machine that you have. It will work on any of them. This particular file you have to have a 5x7 hoop for, but they all have that embroidery. So that little scissors icon there is on all of the machines. So it is very, very easy to do, as you can see. It's just to push up a couple buttons, and then boom, it shows up on your USB. When you take that over to your machine, you then have that cut file already there that the machine will then recognize and cut. So I'm going to zoom over there. Movie Magic. I'll be back in just a second.
Okay.
So Movie Magic.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! There's our pieces. So we are now going to start the stitch out. So our first thing is going to be the placement lines for all of the different pieces of felt and, in our case, Lux vinyl. So we also changed the rules a little.
Yes.
Are you guys surprised?
We know you're not. We'd probably be more surprised if we just did the status quo, right?
Did what we were told for a change.
Yep.
So we are making the white
Yes.
poinsettia.
It's a funny word to say, isn't it?
Poinsettia. Yeah, I always feel like I'm saying it wrong because it's just like,
It doesn't roll
is
off
it
your tongue.
poinsettia?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. But shouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm. It's the P word.
Yep, that one. So this is going to be for those pieces that we are placing in there.
I don't know why they did it like this.
I don't know why they do a lot of things.
Right.
but-
I mean, it asked us.
So
Slackers.
we are, and I'm sorry you guys can't really see a whole heck of a lot that's going on at the moment. Bear with. There we go. So we have, in our case, white felt, which would normally be red felt.
Mm-hmm.
And then the green is going to be the leaf in the upper right-hand corner there. And then this would be the velveteen, which was also cherry red at the bottom down here. We're going to try, and we'll let you know if it works. We're going to try Lux Vinyl, which is OESD's product. And it is white on the back as well.
Yep.
So because we're doing the white, we're going to just go with that. If you are doing the red, for instance, I do have the red bottle actually right next to my Mountain Dew there. It is white on the back, which means, oh, that tape just grabbed right hold of that, didn't it? I'm not sure I actually need that anyways, but. So this is the red, but I don't know if you guys can see in there. That is white backed. So it would kind of stick out if you saw the back of that. if you were doing red. So if you would like to, you could back your Lux vinyl with fabric because you would put a backing on there. They're actually calling for velveteen
Right.
backing. We're going to skip the backing, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think we're going to give it a whirl and see
We're going to
what
see what happens so that you guys will know whether or not to skip that.
Yeah, and then if we don't think it'll work, it'll
then you'll know,
right.
oh, yep, we need to add that.
And the Lux vinyl is different than the Kimberbell vinyl because it is a sewable vinyl, so it won't rip or tear, which is also why we cut it.
It will hold up.
Right. It's
in this aspect, it's not going to tear out.
It's really very nice. We did not back it with anything fusible, so we'll need to use our handy dandy glue stick probably.
Yes.
To stick it down.
My bad. I didn't quite realize it. So this is our cut. You can see it's got a nice shimmer to it. And then this one is white and white. So we're just going to see how that goes. You could fuse something to it to give it a little bit more body. But to get it to stick into the hoop, we'll need to put a little glue to make sure that it stays put. So first thing that's going to stitch is the leaf. So I am going to, I have a dark green in there that's going to show up nice on here. It is color ES955. It's going to do the outline and then the detail in the center there. I believe the outline is just the cut line, but I could be wrong. I haven't read that far.
Seems reasonable.
Sometimes it's the cut line, and then sometimes you're supposed to cut right outside the line, but I think, nope, right outside the line.
There you go.
Okay.
We did cut it a little close on that end, so you might want to scooch that piece over just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the square, but there's not a lot of room there to leave an exterior edge, maybe a little bit. That color's really good color for this.
It looks great.
This is the lighter green. Again, we're doing the white, so I want the lighter green. If you're doing red, probably want the darker green, the grassier green for that.
But these are a couple of really pretty quick stitches. And then we have the satin stitch around the Lux, which takes a little bit longer.
That one, probably.
Yeah, because I think that might make it look dirty, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Like,
oh, yeah.
you good? Mm. All right, so the next guy we're going to switch to is this one here. And that is going to be, in our case, white felt. So we're going to change to white thread.
And this is ES015. There's 15 and 10.
Right, this is natural, not bright white.
Yeah.
So. And here we go. This is another couple of minutes, so. And I did overcut that just by a hair, so.
And this is the outline again, and you'll cut around it, right? Not on it.
Yeah. Yep. I think we want color on there, though. We don't think we want
a color. No, I think we'll just keep it
white. White's good. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
So there's little swirlies on the inside. And then we will move on to our experiment.
Yes. And while it's doing the satin stitch, we'll talk about
the orange
demo, right? Our orange top rulers. we wanted to show you how to cut maybe a complicated block. So we've been talking about mini quilts, and our March block has some unique cuts, right?
Yes. Skinny and long, and versus just
like
the standard
rectangle
rectangle,
or square.
a little bit longer than your typicals. So we thought we would demonstrate how to do that.
Yeah, how easy it is if you're doing a bunch of Kimberbell stuff to use the orange top rulers. And we wanted to share that we're going to have a special that you can get 20% off of your orange top rulers.
You can.
So the coupon code is scrolling.
Rolling.
A hard word to get out of my mouth today.
Rolling.
So if you just type in that coupon code, which is POINS, so part of poinsettia, POINS, that will get you the 20% off both the rectangle or the square. Or both. Yes.
Absolutely. You can always do not one or the other. If you've been waiting and it's time to treat yourself, then go for it. Almost there. We're rounding, I don't know, what would that be? Second? I don't know. Coming up on
There's
third.
5 bases in this one.
I don't know. That's why I'm like 1, 2, 3. Yeah. How do you figure out half?
But are there any sports that have 5?
I don't know. All we have to do after this stitch out is not lose any of these pieces until the next stitch out.
Yeah.
That'll be our challenge of the week, right?
Right, it will be. We spend half of our day looking to figure out where we put this stuff, right? Or where our helpers put this stuff.
Or where they're,
Yes.
That's more to the point in general, is where did someone else put our stuff? We
So
get a lot of help with
they're
that.
trying to help us
They organize and clean up, which is great, and we appreciate that, like 4,000,000%. But then it's like, hey, where did this go?
Right. If you were so and so, where would you have put this?
Was there?
We're definitely rounding home base now, right? And a home run.
Home run! Cha-ching! All right. So, if you are following in instructions at some point and you're like, hey, it called for 2 pieces of white or red felt in this case, the other one goes in the main stitch out.
Yes.
So you were not supposed to put that on the back or anything like that, just FYI. Didn't want anybody to be like, hey, what's going on? So you want to change to that cream color?
Yes.
And then we are going to do the placement lines for the flowers that we cut. So so this is definitely creamier. That Luxe vinyl has just a slightly different hue to it.
And this is color number ES828. It is, I think, one of the original colors from the SnL
It is in
bundle.
In the kit. I know that because it's orange. But so we're going to do the little guy over here and the bigger guy over here. Real quick, just to make sure. I'm going to make sure that
yeah, it doesn't catch.
This doesn't get caught. Okay. Just checking. It was a skinny one. This is definitely not
symmetrical.
Oop. think this might be.
Kind of feels like the tall one might be going up. I think so. That's what I was thinking too.
Either that or that's the skinny one. That one's skinnier, maybe.
Could be.
Maybe. We'll try that. We'll find out here just a second. So again, we have these pre-cut. We took this file out of the design and took it over to the scan and cut. And we are going to, we've got glue on the back.
Hopefully I put enough on. The good news is it does a little bit of detail in the center first, so that'll help hold that down.
Your turn.
Nope. Nope. Last try. There we go.
Last time's the charm.
Right? I was running out of times, otherwise I was going to be in trouble.
So it's not a symmetrical flower. So make sure that you get that. Maybe just a hair. I want to make sure I'm high enough. Well, you know, I can't see that top edge from where we're sitting. So, all right. So there's going to be some doodles in there. And then I believe that center is going to be a separate color stop. So we're going to do a little decorative color in here, but that should come out as a separate.
I think you're my good red lining. I'm gonna swap. And when you're chit-chatting about those, I'll keep that on.
Okay, how about we do this for the moment?
Okay. We had our video paused for a little too long.
Yeah, we let our battery, we should have put them back on the charger, and I got busy doing other things. I set them down thinking we were going to come back, and then we didn't.
It's pretty. Feels like those are in a weird spot. Like they're not like in the middle of the petals, but I think it's probably because of
how it's going to sit in the.
Yeah. Everyone else is probably thinking the same thing.
I know, it's so exciting. All right. We have a.
Okay, now it's going to do the outline.
Which we are leaving this color in. So I am going to pop over here and talk to you guys about these fantastic rulers.
Yeah, we figured you didn't need to watch the little
Satin stitches.
So
not super exciting, right? So orange pop rulers are pretty cool. They are available in 2 different shapes. So we've got the rectangles. You have a 4.5 by 6.5, 6.5, 8.5, and an 8.5, 10.5. And then we have the square set, which has the 4.5, 6.5, and 8.5 squares. They all have grids that you can see for measurements when you're using those. And they come with grips that you can put on there so that they don't slide as you're using them. They don't come with those installed. You get to pick where you want them so that you can kind of personalize that as how you want it to go. So I have mine stored. They each come with these little guys in the center. So you get some specialty rulers in the middles. So I didn't pull all of those out, but this is my storage bag. I just added some fabric to the bottom of one of my event stay kits. And then now they fit in there quite nicely. So that is the pieces themselves. When you are trimming, it definitely makes it easier if you are using something that will do a little bit of rotating, because then you don't have to pick up your item and shift it. You can just move the table underneath of it. So a rotating mat is really, really great. So we're going to, as we were saying, we've been working on the March mini quilt. And so these are from the mini quilt itself. So I'm going to start with just a simple block so you can see how that goes. And this is going to be trimmed down to 4.5 by 4.5. So pretty simple. We've got arrows that you can see in there that will show you where center is. So if you have a crosshair, you can use that as your guide. Or if you have pre-quilted pieces, the light is on that table.
Oh, geez. Here, let me pause. You got a little shaky going on.
It has definitely got a whole lot of shaking going on. Let's see if we can put this here and then adjust that. Okay. Can I have the camera underneath it?
Yes.
All right. So when we are using, we can, the pre-quilted, so you can see that I've got a very clear line there. I'm just going to use that to center myself. So I look all the way around and I use that to make sure that I'm as centered as possible. And then the idea is that I'm going to hold that little ruler. That's not a whole lot to hang on to. So another recommended thing to do is to take the next bigger one and give yourself a little wider ridge. Now I just shifted a little bit, so I'm going to realign just to make sure that I'm where I want to be. And then I'm going to cut. Now you'll notice that I have a small rotary.
It's a little easier.
It's definitely going to be easier to get my blade up. So the reason that this works is because we're cutting past the actual corner, which is why it actually works. If your blade is too big, it doesn't actually go past very far. So the smaller blades actually work quite a bit better when we're doing this. So I'm going to open my blade. That's an important step there. And I am going to cut right along. And that would be really great if my blade would actually allow it to go into the corner there. So that tip's not quite big enough to go in there. So I'm not getting very far. We'll cross that bridge. The idea is there. I'm going to turn the whole thing instead of moving. And now I'm going to hold this guy here and cut and repeat. So we're going to move all the way around. Not really sure how far that blade's going in there, but the idea is there. All right, and here we go. Might need my 45, but all right. So once you have that, you're going to have basically your whole piece. Now again, it didn't, the idea was there for my corners. I'm just going to push that there, and I'm going to grab my other size blade. It's going to be just a little bit bigger. That'll allow my tip here was hitting the edge, so it wasn't going all the way into the corner. The one I have at home does. That's really weird. So I guess all rotaries are not created equal. So there is my perfectly measured 4.5 by 4.5, which is great if it's the size that is already on the block. But what if you have a rectangle that's not one of the sides? So in here I have this guy here who is longer, and I need to finish this one to 4.5 by 8.5. So I'm going to use a couple different, thank you very much. I'm going to use a couple different blades to actually, not blades. She handed me a blade, so I said blade. I'm going to use a couple different rulers to actually make that happen. So I'm going to nest my 4.5 by 6.5 and my 6.5 by 8.5 over the orange pop ruler, and I'm going to line up my 4.5 side that's going to be there with that. So let's go there, grab those two rulers. And I am going to start this direction so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to nest these inside. And what I'm looking for is this one and this one here.
The block that has like a little, is there like a little nib in it?
There is a little nib right there. Yep. So there is. So I can put that arrow on there. And I'm looking on these lines here. These aren't doing anything for me because I'm in the middle of the block. So those I'm not cutting. Ignore those for the moment.
Right.
All right. We're just looking at these sides. And I need to evenly space. And I can make sure that that arrow is pointing at that little notch that got stitched there. So now what I need to do is cut just the two side seams. So there's side one. Let's move that out of the way because I was going to hit it. And I'm going to spin all the way around. And now I'm going to do side two.
Do we want white on the little pieces inside too?
We want like a gold, to be honest.
Okay.
So let's try, not very gold. Maybe that 561. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I'm going to just, we finished the outline and we're going to change to this really pretty gold. It's going to do a little bit of accent in the center here. This is Floriani 561. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Back to the regularly scheduled. So my tick mark there is where I had lined that up. So making sure that my arrow is on that marking there. Before I move anything, I need to remove that outer layer. And now I am going to trim off my edges. So I can again put on another outside layer if I would like to. I think I'm fine at this point. I'm just going to remove one. And two. And here we have the center. So the ends are done. When you do this, you will always have that little bit of space. It's going to be approximately an inch that you'll just need to straight edge and finish. But you'll have the exact measurements because you had your interior pieces completely used with dun, da, da, da. So we just finish off those with a straight edge. And that is how you use your orange pop rulers for both standard and, we'll just call them awkward because I don't know what else to call it. What do you think?
I think that's good. I think one of the things that's super nice about this is that you have the ability to really see the centers. You know, when you have a ruler on top of it, you're constantly guessing, do I really have it in the center? Having that opening there really does help you visualize the center of the block and see those lines so much easier. And you don't have anything rocky.
If I can add, a lot of, especially with Kimberbell,
Yeah.
but not just Kimberbell, there's other ones too. A lot of times we have bulk on the block. So we've got, whether it be leather, whether it be, it doesn't really matter what, but stuff that we've put on there that is a little bit 3D. When you try to put a standard ruler on top of it, it does one of these things, and then you get side seams that end up with a little bend in them because you didn't end up with an actual straight edge. It tips a little bit, and so you don't get the true measurement that you need. You get a true measurement with this because it's completely flat and there's nothing sitting on top of it. So you actually get the measurement that you're going to end up with in the quilts.
It does help.
So it really is very, very functional and very easy to use, as you can see. So that is how you can use that. And that is 2 different sets, rectangle or square. There is the 4.5 by 4.5 or 4.5 by 8.5, using a little bit of an alternative style cutting for that rectangle. The rectangle set is a little bit more expensive than the square set, but they are both individually or together 20% off.
Yes.
So you can use that code POINS, POINS.
Like coins, but with a P.
Yes, for poinsettia. All right.
So that was fun, and that was really good timing because it just finished.
Dun, da, da, da. So,
I got one now.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got a little bit. I'm not green yet. No, I'm not red yet.
Not red yet? Okay. So this is our, if you want to.
Yeah.
So here's our stitch outs. We've got
really pretty.
That came out really, really nice. So we're going to then trim those pieces. So we've got our loose pieces here. This is water soluble. So we're going to remove that excess there. And then we'll trim right on the outside of these lines out here and on that leaf, which is right there. So there's my leaf. And we'll do that trimming. And then we'll have our 3D pieces that will go onto the base.
Yes.
And so we'll do the base next time.
Yes. So next time we'll have the base and
we'll talk clear blue tiles.
Yep, we'll do a small little.
Thanks for joining us for demo number 1. And we will see you on the next one.
Oh, the design will be free after the next demo. So
you'll get the whole code.
Yeah, you got to have 2 demos to get the whole code. So part 1 is going to be scrolling through. It's part of the one that you're going to use. So Poins will be part of it, and it's not going to be Seta. So
nope, we're sneakier than that.
But there you have your first part of the code, and you can use that first part for the discount on the orange pop rulers. Your orange pop rulers. I keep wanting to call them clear blue tiles, and then next week or next video we'll have clear blue tiles, and we'll also have those on special as well.
You betcha.
So let's see, I think that's it, right?
That is it. So right. Thanks for doing the demo.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
So I trim these out.
Yeah.
That's really pretty.
It did come out much prettier. I mean, not that I didn't think it was